Hey guys, Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today we're going to do something that I said I would do quite a while ago, and I've just been a little remiss in getting to it. I should have probably done this video a little bit ago, but we are going to talk about the blade on this Reeve knives Inkosi. This, of course, is the Tanto, and there are a couple of reasons I want to touch on this. Well, first of all, I said I would. Back when I gave you a quick rundown on this knife, I said, look, I'll after I have some time spent with this, I'll let you know if I like the Tanto blade as much as the draw point. So that's part of the reason for this video. But also, I can envision someone who, is looking at a Reeve knife, and maybe you've been looking for a while, and you've been watching my videos, and I've convinced you because I do think this to be the case, that the Tanto, that the Inkosi is the best of what Reeve has to offer. So you've been looking at an Inkosi and you've decided, I really like the look of the Tanto, but I don't want to sacrifice utility for looks. Okay, and if it's just about looks, then I'll go with the draw point. On the other hand, maybe you're coming at this from the standpoint of, look, I haven't had a Reeve knife before. I really want to try one. I've been saving up for this. I'm buying it, envisioning this to be like the one and only EDC tool that I'm going the one and only EDC cutting tool, I guess, that I'm going to carry. And I want to know before I buy the Tanto bladed version that it can do all the things that the drop point can do. That, what I'm really looking for in a single carry knife is utility. And if it's not going to be as utilitarian, then obviously I'm going to go with the drop point. And finally, another consideration that I want to bring up here is, does it fit with the aesthetic of the knife and with the design philosophy of the knife? Okay, so those are the three sort of main approaches that I want to take with this. Primarily asking about its utility and about its overall fit with this design. So first of all, let's touch briefly on that design philosophy. What was the Inkosi designed to do? What's it all about? Now, I have a whole video where I go into great detail on this, and I'm not going to do that here because you can go and watch that whole video. I will put a link either in the description box, if I remember, or either in the end credits if I remember, or in the description box if I forget to do that. But I'm fully intend to put this in the little the little video recommendations that pop up at the end. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So let's first of all ask the question, what about philosophy here? And very briefly, let me just say that the Inkosi is probably the truest expression of an actual hard use knife available in the knife world today. Now, there are some others who come very close, but a lot of what are called hard use knives or marketed as hard use knives are really just designed with a hard use aesthetic. Okay, we take really thick blade stock, really thick titanium frames here, and then because of those thick components, we call it hard use. Meanwhile, the hardware may not be very good steel, the blade grind may be terrible, in terms of a useful cutting tool. There might be little tiny washers in here, but the Inkosi doesn't do any of that stuff. The Inkosi is designed for longevity and endurance and real heavy duty use. The size of the stop pin, the huge washers in here, which I really think should be instructive to the rest of the industry, but the others are, I wish everyone would adopt larger washers. The simplicity, the blade grind, it's what I'm going to call, they call it like a large hollow grind. I'm going to call it like a medium hollow grind. Okay, because what they've done here is they've gone with a hollow grind, but it's not a super aggressive cup. Okay, it's very gentle to keep a lot of material here. It's great steel, so S35VN hardened to 58 Rockwell hardness, again, because they want to get the toughness performance out of it rather than just make it as hard as possible to do nothing but hold an edge. Okay, so they've done a really, really nice job of delivering a knife here that's really, really meant to use and be that one utility tool that just functions forever and a day that you can hand on to your kids. Okay, so that's sort of the philosophy of the Inkosi. And now we look at this Tanto blade and we have to ask the question, does the Tanto do what it's meant to do? Sorry about that, I knocked the tripod a little bit. Does the Tanto blade shape fit that particular philosophy? Okay, first of all, let me say I like the look of this, and I know there's maybe some people out there who don't, but in terms of utility and general use, I'm going to argue here that, yeah, a Tanto blade really can be highly versatile and do pretty well all the stuff you need to do with an EDC blade. Now, the one area it's not going to shine is skinning, but I don't use a folding knife to skin. You know, I'm not going to take a folding knife with all the potential for gunk and stuff and start putting it inside the body cavity of an animal. I'm just not doing that. I have tons of really, really awesome fixed blades that are going to do a better job anyway. So, you know, why would I bother? So outside of skinning and some particular food prep situations where you want to rock on the angle of that knife, again, something I don't really use my folding knife for. What about, you know, opening packages, standing up to any kind of defensive situation, penetrating, you know, slicing? So I've got a couple of different examples here that hopefully will be useful for us. Let's just very quickly do a simple, easy cardboard test, because I do think the cardboard tells us a little something about slicing ability. And I'm not going to go crazy, but I just want to show that this can slice very well. I don't have to put a lot of pressure on here. I'm not working hard. I don't have to worry about much of anything at all. Let's go to something a little bit more difficult. I've got an old container of drywall screws here, and I just want to point out the sharpness of that tip. So imagine the worst clamshell package you could ever think of, and can you cut it with that Tanto blade shape? Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. I don't know why this tripod won't stay put today. It's like there's a wind or something moving it on me. There really isn't. I'm just kind of exaggerating here. But I hope you can see that, yeah, I can get, there we go, some really effective penetration and cutting power out of that Tanto, even though it is very, very steeply angled. Come on. Okay, so I definitely think from a utilitarian standpoint, let's do one more task that's going to be a little bit harder. This is 3 or 4 layers of cardboard, and again, and this is a good test of how any knife is going to slice, because this is pinching pretty hard on that blade. You can even see how it's reclosing behind the blade, and this is working pretty nicely to get this done. Okay, so I think that does demonstrate that we have a fairly highly effective blade shape here. To give you a couple of other examples, you know, let me do some similar stuff with the 8010, which again, I would argue is an exceptionally well-balanced, very utilitarian blade. I'm going to skip the easy cardboard cutting because we all know that's fairly easy. Again, can I come in here and do some cutting? Sure. And this is a time where I'd want to choke up on this. There you go. And you can see I can do it, but again, there's quite a bit of material like the Inkosi to get through that plastic. If I had regular clamshell plastic, this would be so easy. I will demonstrate one knife just to show there is a difference. Okay, so here's a PM2, very, very fine tip. You can see I am pushing. You won't be able to feel this obviously because the camera doesn't work that way, but I do have to push a little more gently to get this to penetrate the plastic. Okay. Now, the trade-off with that, and the reason, you know, not everyone wants a blade like this, especially for hard-use stuff, is because it's a very fine point. So while it penetrates very well, if you drop this, there's a good chance that you're going to be buying a new one, or at least replacing the blade. So, got drywall stuff all over there. That, I think, is a pretty decent demonstration of the utilitarian nature of this blade, and in that sense, I think it really does match the design well. This is a blade that's meant to be used, it's meant to last forever, it's meant to take anything you can possibly throw at it, and the blade matches that philosophy extremely well. It's very utilitarian, it's very capable. It's the kind of blade that if you've got it in your pocket, just about anything is going to be completely doable, with the exception, as I said, of some, you know, some skinning or kitchen tasks and perhaps some bushcraft tasks that you would need a round blade for. But even most of the time in the bush, you're going to be able to get what you need done with a Tanto blade. You just use this portion of the blade, okay? So fairly straightforward stuff. So My suggestion would be that, yeah, this blade shape fits the design very well. And I haven't talked about this. I was kind of saving it for the end. It does give you another option that perhaps the drop point wouldn't, and that would be that you can get some scraping stuff done. I'm not going to scrape this because I don't want to cut it all up, but it can definitely do that job. So yeah, do I think this is a great knife that does what it needs to do? Or I mean, a great blade that does what it needs to do and fits the design of the knife overall? Absolutely. This guy I love. One other reason that I like it is not a lot of people have the Tanto blade, so it makes my Inkosi feel just a little bit special. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this blade shape down in the comments below. We'll talk to you soon.